What's up, guys? I'm Lauren. I have my orange juice and I'm ready to go. So, I have been wanting to make this video for ages and I'm praying that this video comes out exactly how I've been wanting it to come out. So, let's do this. So, Chiron in the first house, right? So, I wanted to make this video in particular because I actually have this placement. And most of the things in this video are mostly just things that I've observed in myself. I am not a professional astrologer, so take what I say with a grain of salt. A lot of people say the first house is like your aura, your presence. Basically, the first house is the energy that you give out to the world, and it's also where your self-concept lies, right? And so when you have Chiron, which Chiron is the wounded healer in your chart, your Chiron can show you your deepest wounds. So having this placement, what it means is that it makes your wounds come to the surface, right? And sometimes it's not fun because they come up to the front where everybody can see it, right? And sometimes it makes you want to lock yourself in a closet so no one can see you. There's a lot of stigma around this placement in particular being very commonly associated with having really bad self-esteem. And the thing with that is that it's not necessarily untrue, but it doesn't have to be true. So I think the thing that makes this placement really difficult is it's not so much that they deal with more wounds than other people. I don't really think that that can be indicated by the chart. Like there's some people with certain placements that suffer more than other people with certain placements. I don't think that that really applies to astrology, but the thing that makes this placement so hard is it feels like you can't hide your insecurities from people. Because like I said, like with this placement, it feels like it forces all of your insecurities to come out for everyone to see. Sometimes it's really fucking scary and intimidating, right? But here's the thing, and this is really important. Um, it doesn't mean that it's permanent, right? It doesn't mean that oh, you're fucked, you're gonna live this way for the rest of your life until you die. No, it's not necessarily true. And it doesn't mean that you have to suffer with low self-esteem for the rest of your life. That's not fucking true at all. Personally, I believe with every single placement that's in your chart, you have a certain thing or mission that you have to fulfill with that placement or a certain goal. So say if you have North Node in, let's say friggin' Gemini, right? Your North Node is who you're supposed to become, so maybe your goal is to create connections with people and being really good at communicating and relaying information or being some kind of teacher or some kind of a student of life. Doesn't have to be those things specifically, I'm just spouting examples. So the whole point of having certain placements in your chart is not to make you feel like you have some kind of disadvantage, but it's to basically show you certain areas of your life that you really need to work on or pay a lot more attention to, right? And I think that Chiron in the first house is no different than that. So with that said, what is the goal of Chiron in the first house, right? So, like I said, yeah, Chiron is where your wounds are, but it's also known as the wounded healer, right? You're supposed to transform all your wounds and heal them. And again, the first house is all about self-concept. It's all about how you perceive yourself and how you perceive the world outside of you. So, in order to transform Chiron in the first house, you have to create a self-concept that is a source of healing to other people, right? Some famous people that have this placement would be um Oprah Winfrey. Hold on, let me look real quick. J.K. Rowling, Whitney Houston, Shakira, Selena Gomez, uh, my personal favorite, Heath Ledger. Ugh. I went through this really weird thing last year where I was obsessed with Heath Ledger. I don't know why, but I'm low-key obsessed. Anyways, Nick Jonas, blah blah blah. A bunch of people I've never heard of. Uh, so anyways, yeah. So I think a very important thing about this placement is that they're literally forced. They're forced to confront like all of their insecurities and all of their wounds at some point in their life. Like they literally have no choice because as I said, like for them it's not like they can shove things they don't like about themselves like to the back and then live their life. Like with this placement it's like you're always like having this like carrot dangling in your face, like you have to like see all of these scary things that you wish you could just ignore about yourself, but it's like you can't. And more often than not, of course, the wounds of Chiron will relate to things that are associated with the first house. So, like your physical appearance or sense of identity, like how you identify with, or your reputation. I guess that's more of like the 10th house, but anything regarding your physical character will probably be very significant for people that have this placement. So, the whole goal with this placement, right, is creating a sense of self that is completely unshakable. Meaning, like, anything that anyone can tell you about your character or how you look, it's just like you have to get to a point where it doesn't mean anything. You don't like think back on something that someone said about you fucking years ago and you're just like, maybe they're right. Maybe I am kind of stupid. Maybe I am kind of ugly. Maybe I am kind of poor. You know. The whole goal with this placement is for you to realize that you get to decide that. And you get to decide your own value. And no one can take away your value. And, validating yourself and valuing yourself is if you're not used to thinking good things about yourself, it's a very disciplinary thing. Like, you literally have to force yourself, I'm not joking, force yourself to say and think good things about yourself, regardless of how stupid you feel, right? And that's like something that is very important for this sign to practice. Just take a fucking piece of paper every day and write down as many good things as you could possibly think of about yourself. And if, like I said, if you're not used to it, you're probably gonna feel really corny or stupid, or in your head be like, I don't think any of these things about myself. Why am I doing this bullshit? But if you think about it, that's how you formed all of the nasty stuff too. You form negative self-talk by constantly having it replay in your head over and over and over again. Even if you're not verbally saying it, the more you repeat that thought, the more it amplifies, regardless of whether it's true or not. So the only reason you may think that some of these negative thoughts are true when they're really not is probably because you've just repeated them so much that you've convinced yourself that they're true, even though they're not. As a kid, like, let's just say my sense of self-esteem sucked. It really did. As an adult, it's better. Very up and down though. I think I could work on I need to work on my consistency with that. But nowhere near as bad as it used to be, only because at one point in my life I was just like really tired of just like not liking anything about myself. So I was just like, this is stupid. Like, why am I doing this? So I would just start like writing a bunch of like good things about myself. Like, I'd fill up so many pages a day. And it worked. It worked a lot. And it also made me realize that there were a lot of things I thought about myself that weren't true at all. So, Chiron, all it is all the planets in astrology are just forms of energy. Instead of thinking of it like Mercury is the planet of communication, the moon is the planet of emotions, instead of thinking of it so literally in terms of keywords, think of them in an energetic context. So, Chiron is just this energy that needs to be nurtured very closely. And the energy that needs to be nurtured closely shows up in the first house, and the first house is just an area of your life, right? Or even a point in time in your life. So you have this energy that needs to be nurtured very carefully and very attentively in the first house in your area of self. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have really bad self-esteem. All it means is that you're going to experience this energy that like needs this very close attention, and it's going to show up in this area of your life. It could manifest as low self-esteem, but it can also manifest in a ton of other ways. So it doesn't mean like you're fucked. I just I think that's one thing that a lot of people get wrong with astrology is like they take it so literally, and I think that's actually why a lot of people stereotype it so much is because there's so many people that are obsessed with using like little keywords to describe the signs and the planets and stuff. But but yeah, anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Like I said, I've actually attempted a couple times to film this video on multiple different occasions, but each time I was just like, nah, I don't think I will. Meh. But you know what? I just told myself, fuck it, fine, I'll finally do it. Anyways, so thank you so much for watching this. If you've made it to the end, please subscribe and please check out a wellness experience on Facebook. I'll put a link down below and please follow. Thank you so much for watching and peace.